Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Thompson. There's no shortage of political news in our state this week. This morning, we dive right into the headlines with the Rundown's Kiera Lake and our Capitol correspondent, Tim Skubick. They talk about the latest with the state's historic infrastructure package, Governor Gretchen Whitmer's latest polling numbers, and some controversy surrounding one Republican running for governor. Take a listen.
Tim, as always, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to talk about the infrastructure plan that we have set on the table right now. Governor Gretchen Whitmer plans to sign that for, what is it, more than $4 billion?
Yeah, and some loose change. Holy cow. Record amount of spending approved by the Michigan legislature in the entire state history. And everybody knows our World War II sagging infrastructure badly needs an influx of new dollars. So here's what the legislature has done this week, which is really astronomical spending. $4.7 billion, most of it COVID money from the federal government. And the numbers are impressive. $317 million on road and bridge repairs, $450 million to spruce up the park and trail systems, $250 million to expand broadband in remote areas of the state, and for motorists trying to navigate flooded freeways, another $66 million to beef up pumping stations. Plus, to avoid another Flint and Benton Harbor lead water crisis, $1.7 billion for lead pipe removals. And $383 million to low-income families that struggled through the pandemic. This is unprecedented, the amount of money. Give credit to the governor and the two legislative leaders and the two chairs of the House and Senate budget committees for getting their act together and getting together a deal that everybody could sign off on. When does the money start to flow? As soon as possible. And one question that is out there, with all of this money going into these projects, the question is, are there enough bodies to actually do the work? Which is a decent question. And we talked to the lobbyists for the Infrastructure Association, and the industry is basically saying, bring it.
And another topic that many people have their eyes on is the race for governor. But right now we're seeing Governor Whitmer's polling numbers, which aren't the best.
Well, they're questionable. If we had been sitting in the room when this polling data came in, I think you would have heard a collective ouch from the Whitmer people, because here's what the question was that was put to the voters by the Marketing Resource Group, MRG. If you were voting today, would you vote for Governor Gretchen Whitmer or, quote, somebody else? 59% said somebody else. That's not exactly brilliant news for the governor. She got 34% either leaning towards her or definitely in her corner. Now, as an incumbent, that is not where you want to be. However, in her defense, and what her team will probably say, is that running against somebody else unnamed is a little different than running against a specific opponent. And the governor's people would likely argue that with a specific opponent, the governor will do much better than this. But right now, somebody else is winning in the governor's race, and it's not exactly the kind of thing that the governor wants to hear. But it's early and a long ways to go in this race.
Yeah, and when you mentioned somebody else, we do have those specific opponents, and one of those is James Craig. It looks like he's having a bit of trouble on his campaign.
Yeah, that's an understatement. He's now gone through his second campaign manager, and the popular wisdom in town is that his front-running status that was self-imposed, say, 6 months ago, has sort of faded into the woodwork. He's right down there along with all the other 11 candidates who are scrapping to try to get some, one, name ID, and two, some support. And it's so far, no real front runner has emerged in this Republican field, which just suits the fancy of the Democrats, who say the longer they're fighting amongst themselves for the nomination, the better it helps our candidate, the incumbent.
All right, Tim, as always, we appreciate all of your help, and we'll see you again next week.
Great. The good news is no charge.
We appreciate it.
Thank you both. Well, coming up next here on The Rundown, we catch up with another man who's thrown his hat in the ring in the Republican race for governor. There's a lot more ahead. The Capitol Rundown. We'll be right back.